Well, welcome to the Stone Roadie podcast. It's the one you don't want to miss. It stars Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie, and Griff, the rocket scientist. Let's not forget Kathy Godsey and all the old friends that come along. Lord, we'll be talking Skynyrd and leaving you with a song.
Podcast 174 of the Stone Roadie Show, Wake and Bake, the Morning Buzz, episode 55, action. Well, good morning, fellow Earthlings. It's Labor Day 2024, and it's Monday, May 27th, and my name's Craig Reed, a.k.a. the Stone Roadie, also known on FakeBook as the world's most famous roadie since the dinosaur. And this is my co-host, the rocket scientist, Griff Martin. So what are we going to talk about this fine Monday morning there, Griff?
Well, I think we ought to start off with kind of like going over the prizes. I just learned Craig said he ain't sent any prizes out for the people that's drawn, but he's working on it. And you're gonna do a little something extra when they get it, right, Craig?
Well, yeah, I've been getting a lot of requests for the Stone Roadie on heroin picture, and we're going to give that as a bonus to everybody that's won, even Shelby. I haven't even sent Shelby stuff out yet. So, yeah, everybody's going to get one of these. Just write to me and tell me where you want me to sign it, or if you want to sign it, I can sign it up here on the sides or on my stomach there. And say, if you want me to sign it, the Stone Roadie, Craig Reed, or what do you want me to write on? There's plenty of stuff to, room to write on it. So just let me know. Just a little something extra. But yeah.
How many drawings have we had now? Do you remember?
Well, yeah, we've had, let me see,
3 or 4?
Well, no, we've had, trying to think. Okay, we had Wheelchair Chuck and Mike Stolings. They were the grand prize winners. And then the week after that, we had LaTonya Burton, and she won the sticker. And then the week after that, we had George's Lawn Service. He won the Fox picture. And then we had Donald Johnson. He won the $1 million bills. And then last week we had Janet Green, and she won the RCB sticker. And we've given away everything so far that we gave away in the grand prize, except some of the extra stuff that we're giving away. We said we were going to send everybody a kazoo, and now we're going to send everybody the Stone Roadie on heroin. And
See, Craig's keeping track. I just
I got it all together here. But this week we're going to give away. We've given away everything else. The only other thing I had that is one other thing. I ain't gonna dig for it, but yeah, we're gonna give this away. The grand prize, since this is the most eloquent thing we had to give away, is the Hell House painting by our artist Griff Martin. Everybody says, God, Griff, you're a good artist, but actually somebody wrote to me and said they want a full-size painting of one of your paintings. I think I'm one of the only ones that's got a great big one. But yeah, this is a grand prize this week, along with the $50 that was on the airplane. From my private coin collection. And so that's the prize this week. And I guess we can talk about the hat that cousin Fiegel is liquidating out of his collection, and this is the signatures. Oh, you can see
Oh, that's cool.
all the inside of the hat there, all the signatures and where they're signed.
And while we're on that topic, Craig, before you go over any more of that, I need to read something that cousin Fiegel wrote.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, it says, "To whom it may concern, on the RVZ replica white hat, I know Craig has brain damage, bless his soul." He said, excuse me, he said that I bought the hat in 2004. I bought it at the Freebird Foundation auction in 1994 at the Holiday Inn, Orange Park, Florida. The proceeds were going to the Ronnie Van Zant Memorial Park, so I had the hat for 10 years. Then I went to the Skynyrd concert in Reno, Nevada for a 2-day show. I bought a backstage pass and a 30th anniversary Skynyrd guitar in 2004. The band signed the hat and my guitar that day. After 10 years, I was able to meet the band, sign the hat and guitar at Johnny when Johnny gave the Confederate flag, which is also up for bid there too. From the mic stand. A few years later, I went to a 38 Special concert and hooked up with Don Barnes in Colorado. He signed the hat, as well as Larry Junstrom, and 38 Special guitar player replaced Jeff Carlisi. Also, Jimmy Van Zant played in my town about 10 to 12 years ago. He hooked up with the hotel and signed the hat as well as the guitar. Jimmy also wrote on the guitar case, "Fly on Freebird," which, we're not doing anything with the guitar, but let me see. Yeah, so that's the story. Craig has all the pics of the hat and the flag, and so he just showed that. So, yeah, so that's all those signatures on that hat, and no, Ronnie did not wear the hat, right, Craig?
No, it's in memory. It's a memory of Ronnie Van Zant hat. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is the replica of the hat that he wore, correct?
Yeah, and this is the hat here. And I had a side picture of the hat with the rattlesnake rattles on it, but I've misplaced it here somewhere. I don't know.
And do we have a current bid on the hat, Craig?
Well, we had a bid on God. I just told you the guy's name a minute ago.
Homer Hancock.
Oh, yeah, okay. Homer Hancock, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he'd give $525 for it, but yeah, Homer, if you can write to me at the stoned roadie at gmail.com, I'd like to talk to you about it. Because you wrote on the message thing, the comment board, yeah. So yeah, we have that, and then we have a bid on the flag. Guy said he wants the flag, and he'll bid whatever on it. So I'm just assuming he'll pay at least $200 for it. So we'll just start there, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
ups and
anyway,
downs,
so
I
yeah,
guess.
that's to support cousin Fiegel, and he's going through his the cancer, and Anyway, yeah. So that's the deal on the hat, and then Craig, you say you got some more donations?
I did, yeah. And I had the pieces of paper here too. Oh, here's the side part. Oh, okay. Here's the side. Here's the side shot of the hat with the rattlesnake band. So
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, and got some cool pictures of Melody wearing it and cousin Fiegel wearing it. Yeah, and
Well, you say you started running out of ink printing it, didn't you, Craig?
no, I ran out of photo paper. Actually,
Oh,
what I had, I had another pack of photo paper, and I opened it up, and it was matte paper instead of glossy. So don't want to use that. Yeah, we had Michael Gary donated $300 to the Survivor Fund, and then I think I mentioned last week that we sold the two T-shirts for $500.
cool. Appreciate
Uh,
all the donations, and
yeah, so yeah, we're keep getting them in. We're gonna have I send that out pretty quick. Got to send that out pretty quick. I must send
yeah, and
everything out pretty quick. I swear, I promise.
and then there's something I'm gonna do too. The other day or the last podcast when we showed Gene Odom on there, and he was signing these two posters, the conveyor, and he went through and was talking about all the seating and everything that happened on there, and he signed it up top here, right there. He signed it, and he just described named all the people on here, and he signed it as well. What I'm going to do with this is I've got a jump drive that I'm going to put the video of that, of Gene signing that and going through the description. And if you guys that are interested in these would send me an email, go to the supportsurvivors.net page and tell me, hey, I would like to have that. And if I see your name in the comments, quite a bit, where you guys are participating and commenting, I'm going to just pick somebody. So go to supportsurvivors.net and say, hey, I'm interested in getting this. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do along with that. I'm going to send a couple of these stickers right here, and I'm going to send a Hell House poster along with it. And I'm going to send the band drawing along with it too. So that's a pretty good prize. So you guys that are interested in that, go to supportsurvivors.net, the contact page, and say, hey, I'm interested in the Gene Odom package. And then I'm just going to pick a name out of there. I'm not going to have a drawing or anything. That'll mess us up. So that's a nice little giveaway thing for you too. I figure while I'm sending those posters, I might as well send a bunch of stuff because it's not that much more in postage. So yeah. So supportsurvivors.net, and I guess that's everything on the giveaway except for what we're doing Friday, right, Craig? And we got another one coming Friday.
Yeah, this is Monday, so we got another podcast here Wednesday, and then we got the giveaway Friday. But I'm gonna do a couple of commercials, and we're not even getting paid for these.
Okay.
I make hard boiled eggs, and I just hate peeling those doggone eggs. And I said, there's got to be some kind of invention these days to make peeling eggs easy. And by golly, there is. It's called a neg. It's a neg. what it's called. And you can get it from Amazon. They're like $16, but it's well worth the money if you.
Yeah. How the heck does it work?
And here it is, right here. It's very simple. It's just a little thing, and it's got a little dimple in there, and you just put water up to the red part there, and you put the egg in there, and you put that thing on there, and you go like that about 5 or 6 times, 8 times, and you take this off and you pull it out, and the shell literally falls off the egg. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, look it up on Amazon and look at the video. It's called a neg.
Wow, because that's something that'll flat ass drive you crazy when you start peeling the egg and it starts pulling pieces of
this thing. I swear to God, you fill up with water, put the egg in there, shake it, and it must separate the egg from the shell. You take it off, and it literally the shell just really falls off in your hand.
Damn,
the damnedest thing you ever seen, but it's like $16. Yeah, it's well worth it.
I'm sold.
And I got one more thing. Griff didn't even notice that I shaved today.
Yo, I knew it. I just didn't say anything.
I got I got this shaver off of Amazon. It's on sale. It's 25% off. It's a Braun, and I bought a Braun before, and I paid $360 for that dang thing, and I used it. And Sammy come over, and he knew I bought one, and he brought over this Norelco, and it worked basically. Couldn't tell much difference, but the dang thing broke, so I needed to get another one. So I got this one. And man, it took my beard right off. It was only $64 with the 25% off.
Damn.
$64. My other one, Braun, because I did a search, and I said what was the best electric razor made, and they said the Braun Series 9 was the best, but the best one for the money was this one right here. And it's like $59 plus taxes, so $64. But man, I used this little attachment here. How do you get that thing up? Oh, there. The little thing there.
The clipper.
Yeah, that thing there. Man, it took my beard right off. I was going, how in the heck am I going to do that?
I have a Braun, but I lost the cord to it.
Yeah, and that thing took my beard right off, and then zip zap, man. Yeah. But I'm not really used to electric shavers, but this thing seems pretty cool for $65 to me. Blades are so expensive. God, one pack of blades is like $50.
That's a pretty good deal there, I think. I mean, but that's
it worked great. Yeah, I give it a thumbs up if you need one. That's a good one. That's one here right there. It don't have the fancy LED lights in it or nothing. It's just it's got the swivel head and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Well worth the money, I think.
Well, anyway, that's nice of you to do free advertisement for Braun and the
It made my life a lot easier. Boy, that egg peeler, man, oh man, that made peeling eggs is just so easy. Yeah.
Yeah, those eggs, they are aggravating when you start peeling the peeling off and then big hunks of egg come off with it. Makes you want to throw the whole egg in the trash. And if you're making deviled eggs.
Yeah, the peeling just falls right off. Yeah.
You eat a lot of eggs, Craig?
No, but when I do, I'd hesitate doing stuff with hard-boiled eggs because they're such a pain to clean. But now I've been kind of finding things to make eggs with.
I was thinking something about you the other day. I was thinking, I just can't imagine Craig Reed like doing dishes or making the bed or doing laundry. You do your own laundry?
Uh, do what?
Do you do your own laundry?
I do my own laundry. Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't remember when I was at your house. I didn't remember. Is it the washing machine down in the basement?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Washer dryers down there. Yeah.
yeah. Because I don't know, man. For some reason, I don't see Craig Reed as a homemaker.
I'm not. I dusted once and it fooled me. It come right back. So.
Yeah, that damn laundry. It does suck. That's the one of the things I hate doing is the laundry. That's just that's like one of my worst things I hate. I'd rather go out and cut the grass than I do laundry, folding it and having to put it away and all that crap. But yeah, and then I don't mind cooking. So, but yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day when I was doing my laundry. I was saying, I bet Craig sends his laundry out. Ain't no way he does his own laundry.
It ain't that hard.
Yeah, well, I guess.
I had to do my own laundry on the road. That's a bitch to do your
Yeah,
laundry
how the
on
heck
the
did you
road.
do that on the road? Did you
Oh
go to the
God, man! You got to go to a laundromat or sometimes the hotel has a washer dryer, but they have like two machines for the whole hotel, and they're always full. So you just go to a laundromat or just send it out.
Yeah, I remember you telling me you and Sharon King used to go do the laundry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, bands just they have somebody to do their laundry for them. I've done laundry for the band lots of times.
And if you put too much soap in Alan's underwear, then he get the raw ass on stage, huh? While they're jumping around. Greg, you put too much soap in my underwear.
I think I told a story about me being in charge of doing the band's wardrobe laundry and stuff, and I I had these bags, and you have to put the wet stuff. You have to separate the wet stuff, from the blacks and the whites because it'll bleed, and
Yeah.
I put the bags in the crew bus in the bin, and somebody got in there shuffling around and got them all mixed up and got Dale's white silk thing she wore mixed up with something black, and it ran. And oh, she
Oh,
wasn't.
hell.
Yeah.
And if you put something red in the whites, it'll turn it pink.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you tell me? Yeah, remember that time you told me you said that Alan was out on stage and he had his white pants on and he came over and he goes, Craig, did I shit in my pants? And there was a
It didn't
brown
have no,
there was a brown spot in the back of his pants.
didn't wear no underwear, and he farted and bet on a fart and lost, I guess, and thought he shit himself
Did you
with
have to
white
do the
pants.
laundry that day?
That would, yeah, that would definitely show up. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he's out there doing all that jumping around and stuff, and I mean, the last thing that you want to do is hold a fart in while you're out there playing Freebird. you know, you need to concentrate on your fingering. Yeah, you want to be so. And who knows? He might have had like a lot of maybe some rum and coke or something the night before that caused it. Tell you.
In your questions, you have the one the girl asked about did we keep the rumors down about all the women on the.
Yeah, I got that in there. Yeah,
Okay,
I got
yeah,
that.
I
I
saw
wrote
that.
that
I
one of the
saw that.
questions.
We have quite a few questions.
Yeah, you want to go over? Let's go ahead and go over those questions
Yeah.
now. I got a lot of good. The comments and the questions are really getting good. You guys are starting to really step up to the plate on those.
If I was to write a book, I'd never write a book about all this kind of stuff. You gotta. Now you're finding out stuff nobody would ever write in a book. Because we're having
Yeah, I mean,
what you call a forum. This is a.
yeah, it's a pretty interesting things I never thought about, but yeah, let's go over these comments and questions.
People
Let's go
said
ahead.
I've read people's comments. They say this is like an encyclopedia on Lynyrd Skynyrd. Watching
Well,
it.
it's we're talking about even doing laundry, even that's getting dialed in on some Leonard Skinner behind the scenes. So Yeah, so we'll start off with old Jeff. He says he was looking at the last podcast, and Gene and I were fishing. He said Gene looked like he was wore out after that fishing trip, which he was, and I was too. I don't know. I guess it was just so damn hot. I mean, it was really hot out there, and I don't have like a bimini top or anything on my boat. And of course, you've never seen a bimini top on a bass boat. Not that mine's a bass boat, but I know I never had a bimini top on any boat I ever had. I used to go fishing with my dad a lot offshore when I was a little kid, and he would just go out there and we would bake. We would just turn into a lobster out there. But that's about how Gene and I felt the other day. And Jeff says he don't understand why Gene didn't just crash at my house. So the thing about Gene is um, Gene is a driving fool. Anybody that knows Gene and knows him well, that guy, he drove all the way out to Texas recently to a gig somebody invited him to. And, he lives in Inverness, Florida. And when he got there, he was like 2 miles away from the gig and he couldn't find it. So he got pissed off and went home. Miles mean nothing to Gene. Gene, and he will not stay at your house. I've begged him before. I said, Gene, come on, man. I got a spare bedroom. I live here by myself. And he just insists on going home. Doesn't matter what time of night it is. And he just likes to drive. I think it's therapy for the guy. I think he just, he thinks about stuff maybe and it makes him feel like he's, I guess, doing something. And, if you suffer from PTSD, I guess you have little quirks and things that you do, and that might be one of them for him. So no, I do offer Gene to spend the night, and yeah, he's welcome to stay the night anytime he wants, but he likes to go home. And as a matter of fact, he's driven to Jacksonville in the past 2 days 3 times. And by the way, he did sell the dobro that we donated to him. Dobro. He actually knows a band out of Johnson City, Tennessee, where is a young guy who wants to learn how to play the dobro. He's a really good guitar player. So yeah, what you got there, Craig? Another pipe?
Cousin Fiegel sent me another mini. This is called a miniature peace pipe, but it's got a real small ball on it.
One hitter.
Yeah, it's like a 1/4 inch. Yeah.
I wonder what the Indians used to smoke.
I don't know.
It's a good question. Anybody knows what the Indians used to smoke? It could have been weed. I don't know.
Yeah, neat.
I have no idea. Maybe it was tobacco that they got from the pioneers or something.
These are ceremonial pipes. He sent me all these. I got 3 of them.
Cool. Well, I know Craig will use them. You don't have to worry about that.
I got the big peace pipe here. Is here somewhere.
Yeah, so that's the deal on Gene Odom, and the fishing trip did wear him out, and he wanted to go home, and that's just the way Gene is, and he's been to Jacksonville a few times, and he sold the dobro, and so that's the catch up on Gene Odom. And then I got a lot of comments on my painting. Funny thing about that painting, I wasn't even really finished with it yet, but Gene was coming over, and so I let it dry a few days before he came so he could write on the back of it, and then I just finished it the other day. I wasn't done with his eyes, and Gene says, "Damn, I wasn't missing my eye on before the plane crash, and you didn't put my eye in there." I said, "I wasn't done with it yet, Gene." So since then, I put his eye in, and yeah. So yeah, poor Gene, he lost his eye in a plane crash. So anybody didn't know that. Yeah, appreciate all the likes on my painting, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but I think I'm gonna paint a bunch of Lynyrd Skynyrd stuff, and maybe throw a concert and have a gallery or something. One day everybody can come to the concert, and then they can buy my paintings. We'll auction them off. It might take me a couple years before I get there, but something to shoot for. So appreciate the comments on the painting. Kimmy, Kimmy, I think she's smoking the sativa now, Craig, because she's getting she sounds like she sounds like just she's not crazy anymore. Old crazy Kimmy. Um, she made a really good suggestion, and she says that we should start a bass tournament in Ronnie and Gene's honor and have a fish fry. And I think that's an excellent idea. Don't you think that's a great idea, Craig? Have a bass tournament, a Ronnie Van Zant and a Gene Odom bass tournament, and collect up a bunch of money, and then
Are you
whoever.
gonna eat the bass? Because bass ain't a very good eating fish, is it?
Well, there's a lot of people that eat bass, yeah, but we don't have to. We don't have to have the fish fry. I think just a bass tournament would be cool. And then some of the proceeds can go to the plane crash survivors, and then whoever wins the bass tournament, maybe they get a little check. But I'll start working on that, Kimmy. That's a great idea. The bass tournament in Ronnie Van Zant and Gene Odom's honor.
Oh, where are we gonna have that?
Well, of course, in Florida.
Where are we gonna have that at?
Where we're gonna have that at. That's not supposed to be. You're not supposed to put an ad at the end of something like that. That's incorrect.
No,
English.
Right. Yeah.
Not that I'm
gonna have that
at. Where are you gonna have that at?
At.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. I got a whole chain of lakes around over here. Or we could do it in Jacksonville, but there's plenty of places.
Lake Delancey would be the place to do it. That's where Ronnie we used to fish. Lake Delancey, that'd be the spot right there.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk to Gene about that. See what Gene says where we should have it at. Jeff, he's the guy who was asking about why didn't Gene spend the night. And he says, Craig, your heroin picture, you look like a young Bob Dylan. Was Bob Dylan on heroin too?
My heroin picture. Everybody likes my heroin picture, yeah.
You don't look like you're on heroin, but I don't know what a person looks like when they're on heroin, because I mean,
that was the first time I did heroin.
Yeah, you look like you were happy. You look like you were relaxed. Yeah, that's something I've never done anything like that. I'm a wuss when it comes to drugs. But I am a rocket scientist. Rocket scientists don't do drugs. So yeah, okay. Bob Dylan.
I tried everything in my life. Things I liked, I tried twice. You got that right.
Sure, got that right. Let me see. This is a weird name. Amelin 409. I don't know. It sounds like some kind of a cleaner. But says the guy that bought the Hell House bought it to keep it, the Hell House property where Hell House used to sit, bought it to keep it from being built on. It's a damn shame. Maybe his wife couldn't afford to keep it. Yeah, that guy that bought that, he did have all the intents to keep it from being built on, and then he had a widow maker. He was a young guy, I think he was like in his 40s. He was a comedian. I can't recall his name right now. But I met him, and he was a really nice guy. And he bought that Hell House property, and he didn't want it to be built on. And then he died of a heart attack, and his wife sold it. So I don't know, the specifics on why she did that, but it is a damn shame that it got sold. But um, that's the only lot left in the whole place, as far as I know. And whoever owns it, they'll be sitting in their living room watching TV, and all that music that was written right there in their living room. That's kind of crazy. It's got some cool mojo going on there. So yeah, that'd be kind of cool to go do an interview with those people. And Gene knows them, so I might do an on the road with Griff Martin and go talk to the people that bought that property, and once they get the house built, and talk to them and see if they have any kind of ghosts or anything in the house, good ghosts. So, yeah, that would be I know it was a little more expensive than the rest of the lots, just because they knew that the Hell House was there, and, it had all those good memories. Black Widow says, always a learning experience with Gene Odom. Yeah, every time I talk to Gene, there's always something new that he talks about. And, it's just the same with Craig, because, we'll be talking to Craig, and then all of a sudden he'll bring something up that nobody ever knew. And we'll be like, damn, Craig, I didn't know that. So, that's why you guys got to keep watching the Stoned Roadie podcast, because every now and then, a couple brain cells hook back up in Craig's brain, and then here he goes with a new story we never heard before.
Hey, I was watching TV the other day, and I was watching a thing about Howard Hughes, no, or Hugh Hefner. He only paid 1 million, like $1.1 million for that estate, that mansion out there, the Playboy Mansion.
Really?
That was the first $1 million piece of property out there. He paid over $1 million for it, and that was the most expensive property out there at the time when he bought it. Yeah, that's hard to believe. Just a regular house out there now costs $1 million.
I wonder what they're doing with it now.
Some guy bought it. Some other guy bought it. But that Barbie Benton is actually the person that found it, and when she was married to him. But it made me think about when we were in Chicago. We did a show at the Chicago stadium, baseball stadium, Wrigley Field, and Barbie Benton showed up, and she was back there, and she heard me say that I had to go back to the hotel for something, and she told me to take Hugh Hefner's Rolls-Royce limo, take the chauffeur and the Rolls-Royce limo back to the hotel. So I took his limo back to the hotel, in the Rolls-Royce and Hugh Hefner's Rolls-Royce limo. Barbara Benton told me to take it. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
See, there you go again. There's another new Stoned Roadie story that we didn't know about. Craig took, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Hugh Hefner.
What was that like? Was it a pretty nice limo?
Yeah, well, it was a black Rolls-Royce limo. Yeah, I said, man, she was sitting there talking to the band, and I said, God, guys, I got to go back to the hotel. She said, take my limo, take my car. And she told the chauffeur to take me back to the hotel. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
The French benefits you get from being a damn roadie for Skynyrd, huh? You never went to the to Hugh Hefner's house?
No.
No? Surprising. If the walls could talk at that place.
Do
Oh
what?
if the walls could talk at that
Oh
place.
God, yeah, yeah. I watched a whole show about that the other day. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I heard
I
there were
couldn't
like,
believe it. That was the first house out there that sold for over $1 million. Got that house today would be $150 million,
oh
probably.
yeah, I mean now that, since it was his, now it would be, yeah, it would be definitely. Um, some of these Hollywood stars, they overbuild their houses and then they can't sell them. I saw a whole thing on people that overbuilt their houses and couldn't sell them because I guess they customized them too much, and they had all that money and they threw in. They tried to get the money back out and they couldn't. But yeah, I heard there was tunnels underneath Hugh Hefner's house. I read a thing about that recently too.
I don't know. I just saw some stuff about Kid Rock's place that he just built. He's got all gold toilets and stuff.
Kind of like Trump.
Like Trump, yeah, like Trump, yeah. He's got gold, yeah.
He's got. I think he's got a trailer on his property. I saw an aerial view, and he's got like a really nice house, and then there's a trailer over by a
He's got
lake.
like a White House, a regular White House.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's a really cool guy. All right, moving right along, and here's somebody says, Craig, you need to do a step by step uh podcast on the Stone Roadie soup on your soup.
Yeah, I should have a cooking show, huh?
You need to one day go in your kitchen and
Have
make the
somebody
Stone
film me
Roadie soup.
so much soup, yeah.
That would be cool, I mean, that's watching the Stone Roadie make his soup. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'd watch that. But Craig ain't gonna do that. Well, you should, at least put the ingredients up so people can
I
see.
just made a batch yesterday, and I was making it, and I didn't know I ran out of pinto beans, so I had to make it without pinto beans. So then I had to run out and buy some pinto beans and then cook them and add to it.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is probably what made Alan shart in his pants. Uh, yeah, which kind of makes you wonder what I guess they catered into all the concerts that you guys did and were probably pretty upscale food.
Oh God, yeah, there was great food there. Yeah, depending on the caterers, yeah, there was great food. Yeah, a lot of
You
good stuff.
probably, I know, out at work when they did all those movies, I worked on like 5 major motion pictures: Apollo 13, Armageddon, Transformers, Space Cowboys, Contact, and those movies I got to eat with the all the stars, and man, they had like filet mignon and uh the prawns, and you go up there anytime and the chef and say, hey, I want an omelet all the way, and he'll cook you an omelet right up. I mean, you ate like a king
That's
and
the
when they
way.
had this.
That's the way working for the world WWE, the wrestling. When I worked up at the arena, and they have wrestling up there, and those wrestlers had the best food, man. And us crew guys, we just sat down and ate with the wrestlers. God, I've eaten with God, what was that guy's name? I can't remember their names now. Um, God, I can't remember their names now. But all those
Uh,
cool wrestlers, yeah.
Jack Briscoe, the Great Malenko, and all those guys. Yeah, I used to watch.
The Undertaker. I ate lunch with him a couple of times. The Undertaker, yeah, he's pretty
I
cool.
remember um,
He's a good
the
football
Lakeland.
player, man. That guy can throw a football. Boy, oh boy.
At at the Lakeland Civic Center, they used to have wrestling matches there all the time, and I remember I was like 12 years old, and me and my buddy Johnny, we went down there, and Bob Roop got thrown over the ropes into the stands, and then we were all running up there and hitting him in the head, and he was acting like it hurt. He was like, "Oh, that hurt." I thought that was pretty nice of him to do
Yeah,
that.
we could watch them rehearse and everything. Yeah, it's really cool. We're pretty cool.
Back then, a lot of people believe that, that wrestling they were into that, they were, I mean, it
Oh,
was
as soon as
fake.
we get that ring, as soon as we get that ring together, man, they're in there bouncing off the ropes and doing all kind of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So you worked those wrestling matches, and then
Bunches of them. Oh God, yeah,
yeah.
a bunch of them. Yeah,
Where was
everything
that
up
at?
at up in Cleveland where the Cavs play.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I worked a bunch of shows.
So you didn't just do concerts, you did wrestling
No, I did
matches,
all
and
kind of stuff. Yeah, I did Broadway. I did a bunch of Broadway plays and all kind of stuff.
that's cool, man. So you're not just the stoned roadie. I mean, you were a support guy for
Oh,
wrestling matches and theater and
I did the basketball games. Yeah, for the when the Cavs were gonna win the go into the playoffs. We had to be there and be all prepared for the award ceremony and stuff and rehearse for it for the trophy thing and everything. You had to be all coordinated, coordinated, so it was all really, done really quick, It's really cool.
were you able to be stoned for that too?
Oh, you weren't supposed to be, but I always was. Yeah, you're not supposed to be drink or do drugs, but those are the rules. But the rules
But
are.
Ron Eckerman said it didn't matter, that you could totally function that way. So
Yeah,
nobody knew.
I
And if
never
you're that
followed
way
that.
all the time, then nobody's going to know the difference, right, Craig?
That's right. Yeah, I never followed many rules if I could help it.
That's like Craig stoned right now, and you don't even know it.
I'm having to hide it because I think we got limited by our monetization because I was hitting that pipe last week, and somebody commented, "I'm glad to see you hitting the pipe again on the live," but then they took our limited our monetization, so I'm doing a little
Yeah.
test to see if
And
they.
somebody, I was talking to a guy, he's kind of privy on that stuff, and he said that we're very politically non-correct and that they're definitely hammering us and taking away our subscriptions and things like that. So I don't know, man. We're not going to change, though, are we, Craig?
No, we got a loyal following, that's pretty funny. Everybody I talk to just said, "I'm addicted." It's like a thing now. Everybody says, "I'm addicted."
Yeah, they were wanting us to do
You got to do
the
Tuesday and Thursday now.
yeah,
I'm addicted.
yeah, but boy, that would be like a full-time job.
Boy,
That would
having
be,
Saturday off this week was a I feel
yeah.
like I had some time off.
I know it's just like everybody else, we get to have the weekend off too, but everybody's off today, so nobody's probably
Yeah,
listening to
most
this.
people are off today. Some
Yeah,
people probably got to work. I imagine, car lots are open today. Today's a big day for car lots, I imagine.
yeah, and anybody that's having a sale, a Memorial Day sale, like Lowe's and
Yeah.
Home Depot, and
Yeah, there's a
those
lot of
people.
places that are open today. A lot of people don't have the day off.
But there's a lot of people that they're waking up at 10, 11 o'clock and today, and they're listening to the Stone Roadie show. They're not on the way to work. They can lay in bed and drink their coffee and just take a
Yeah.
break and listen to the Stoned Roadie show. Okay. Harvey Dupree wants to know, how's your grandson doing with his baseball?
Well, he's in college, and they're not playing. They're done. The season's done for the year, but he's doing workouts. I think he's working out with uh,
Brett Myers.
Brett Myers. Yeah, I think they're gonna do. Brett's awful busy though. But Brett's got a couple of kids of his own that are in baseball, so he's a little busy, and he's got some other things going on too. So. That's the plan. He's going to do some workouts with Brett. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess how did you meet Brett Myers? Was that through
Chad
was
did. Chad met
Chad
him
did? Yeah.
at the baseball. Yeah, him, Tanner, and his son Colt. Colt Myers is also a pitcher. But Tanner was only a pitcher just the last year. Tanner was always a shortstop. But he always they met at the games, and him and Chad's the one that got Brett to introduce Brett to Johnny Van Zant, and Brett's done some shows with Johnny and them because of Chad, I guess.
Yeah, he's a musician. He got his own band.
Yeah, he's got a great band, man. He's got a
Yeah.
great, yeah.
He got a little
Brett
studio
Myers.
at his house.
He's got some good songs. He's a good songwriter too. He's funny.
Yeah, it's a and I think, Chad actually said we could probably do an interview with him sometime. So maybe
Oh
we'll do
yeah.
that. Speaking of that, not to get too far off the subject, but I've been in contact with Craig's ex-wife.
My
And
first ex-wife, yeah.
yeah, the first ex-wife, Chad's mom, and she's going to be coming on. I don't know exactly when. I'm going to call her next Tuesday. I gotta call her, and we're going to have a little talk about what we're going to talk about and what I can and can't say or whatever. And yeah, so that's going to be interesting because she was good friends with everybody.
Oh yeah. She was there a lot, but a lot. Yeah, when we were out of town, like I said, Alan and we only lived not even a half a mile apart. So her and Kathy would hang out, and her and Judy would hang out.
Yeah, her and Kathy were like pretty good
Pretty
friends,
good friends.
pretty
Yeah, her and
close.
Judy were
Yeah,
pretty good friends too.
which
I guess her
is
and Judy still talk. So occasionally, I don't know. I don't know.
yeah. Well, that's cool. That's cool, and we get to hear some stories from a lady's point of view that was there, and she was around. She was at Hell House and everything, and not too many ladies were at Hell House. I don't think.
She's the only woman I ever
Yeah,
maybe not saw there, but she's the only one that ever stayed there that I'm aware of. Yeah,
yeah. She stayed there with you, right? Like for
yeah. Her and Chad spent the night there lots of times.
that's going to be cool, because she might remember some stuff that you didn't remember. Who knows?
From
But
what
she's
Chad
kind of
says,
like,
she doesn't think she'll remember. She remember very much, but it's just. I think she'll remember. She has a lot of things that are probably not that she doesn't think that is important to her, but a lot of people find interesting. Yeah.
yeah, that's going to be a good interview, I think. And so
Everybody used to come over to our apartment. It was and Dean was always at our apartment. He was always there. No, no.
wow, that's going to be great. I can't wait to get to talk to her and get her on and hear some stories and some point of views from the Stone Roadie's ex-wife. And how cool is it that that one of your ex-wives will come on? I mean, that's great. That you still she don't hate you so much that she'll come on the Stone Roadie show. So. Well, that's the mother of your child and everything. So, and thank God for her because we wouldn't have Chad, which, uh, Chad Reed's a cool guy. All right. Let's see, moving right along. Okay. Yeah, yeah, Tanner. Tanner's a good kid, man. He's a great baseball player and a great pitcher. I've been to some of his games, and man, the kid's got an arm on him and a heck of a curveball too. Doug Harris, Craig, do you remember the concert February of 1996 with Hank Jr.?
Oh God, we did tours with Hank Jr.
Yeah,
Man, Christmas. We did, yeah, we did
he
several
might have talked about a
tours.
certain specific venue, and I might have missed putting that down.
Yeah, we did
But
several tours with
did you
Hank.
ever meet him, Hank Jr.?
Oh
Did you
God,
talk to
yeah,
him?
he
And
was,
yeah,
yeah.
you
When
smoke
I,
weed with him?
huh?
Did you smoke some weed with him?
Yeah, but we were in I don't remember him smoking with us, but I was in the back lounge with him and Hank, and me and him and Hank were back there, and Dale. Yeah,
Yeah. What was he like? Was he pretty
he's
normal
all
or
right. Yeah, he's
crazy guy?
just
Was
regular
that
guy.
after his accident when he fell off the mountain or before?
No, after, way after. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got some pretty severe scars on his head. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's got some he's like Ronnie when it comes to lyrics, you know. He talks about in his lyrics his life. He's the same as Ronnie. Um, when it comes to that. It's and who doesn't like Hank Jr.? I mean, that guy's something else. Yeah, so Doug Harris, I might have left something out in there, man, as far as the venue. Um, but in '96, I guess he toured with Skynyrd, and of course, I don't think Craig probably would have remembered it anyway. You know, he just remembers the tour. You know, it's kind of hard when you got so many people. Yeah, and here's Homer Hancock in the comments says that he's going to bid $3,525 on that hat. So go to the stoned roadie at gmail.com and confirm that, right, Craig? You need to go there and
Yeah,
confirm.
the Stoned Roadie at gmail.com. Yeah. Yeah, Homer, he's number 48 on the list. We just pulled number 47 here last week. So he was
That was
awful
close, man.
close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was close.
close number, yeah.
And yeah, I'm sure cousin Fiegel would appreciate that, and I think that hat's well worth it too. I really do. Um,
Yeah, that was the one from the Orange Park in 2004. No,
yeah,
it's 94. 94, yeah. Orange Park in 94, that's when that was.
and uh, James King says I haven't heard of a man named Autumn before. That's Autumn Honecker, which is
I
a
have
lady,
never either.
which is a lady, and I keep saying, I don't know if that's a man or a woman, but yeah, that's definitely a woman. Autumn's a cool name, I think, It's like that Seinfeld, where George wants to name his kid Seven. You ever see that one, Craig, where George Costanza wanted to name his kid Seven, and then
I don't.
somebody stole the name? Yeah, if you're a Seinfeld watcher, but yeah, Autumn, she did verify she is a woman, and that's a cool name. Uh, and I was just messing around with that. Is that a man or a woman? But Larry Tate says he's glad to see you token on screen. And YouTube allows punks filming themselves doing 140 miles per hour on busy highways, so token shouldn't be that bad. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you see on YouTube, people doing, and token a little weed on the Stone Roadie show. I mean, what's wrong with that, right? It's no different than just having a beer or something. As a matter of fact, I happen to think that weed is probably something that you can do and you can function more on weed than you could on alcohol. Would you agree with that, Craig?
Oh yeah, God, yeah. I've never been in trouble for smoking weed. I've been in a lot of trouble for drinking. A lot of
And
trouble.
And I've seen on the news where they're saying that a lot more people are smoking weed now, which I hope that the people that are smoking weed are leaving the alcohol alone, because I'd feel safer on the roads personally, in my personal biased opinion. And I happen to know that weed is not as bad as drinking. Uh, I don't know if anybody, maybe if you're doing gummies, right? I mean, gummies will mess you up. Because remember that time you OD'd on the brownies, Craig?
Yeah.
Craig actually had to go to the hospital. And maybe one of these days
I
I'll
didn't
go in
have to go. That's where the ambulance took me.
I'll go in my phone. I
Wouldn't
saved the
bring me
message.
home.
You know that when you called me and you left a message on my phone, you said I'm in the hospital and I had a little problem. I've got that in my messages. I'm gonna uh I'm gonna see if I can't download that and
If
get
I
that.
could have found somebody at the party to bring me home, I could have. They could have brought me home, but they wouldn't have been able to carry me into the house because I couldn't. My legs wouldn't work, and the ambulance people, they wouldn't bring me home. They wanted to take me to the hospital.
Didn't Sammy make that brownie for you? It was big, like a cake.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think so.
It wasn't Sammy?
Uh-uh.
But yeah, Craig ate two big old pieces, like right away, and then later on he couldn't even talk, and then so they called the ambulance on him, and they came out, and then Craig said, "I don't need to go," and they left, and then he ate another piece, and they came
Oh,
back.
I didn't eat another piece of another brownie kicked in.
Didn't the ambulance leave, and then they had to come back?
Yeah, yeah. I was coming around. I was feeling okay, and then another one of them brownies kicked in, and knocked me down again. I couldn't walk. Yeah, I'd have
That
been
was your
okay.
birthday, wasn't it? Your birthday?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
hey, Yule, what's her name? 53. Yule
yeah, Yultivore, right?
Tavor. Hey, you won last week, so if you want to collect your prize, you gotta.
Oh, they haven't confirmed yet.
No, they
Now I
haven't.
don't know. Is that if that's a man or a woman? I can't tell.
Yoldavor. I don't
What
know.
would you say?
I don't know. That might be a nickname. I don't know. That's an email address or something. I don't know.
yeah, James King. What do you think that is?
But you'll know who you are. I mean, you'll know who you are. And while I'm looking at it, hey, thanks, Parsons Land Clearing and Services.
Um, Here's another weird handle. I mean, if you guys could put your name on here, it would be better for me. But it's okay if you don't want to. I'll figure it out. But News Recording Studio says, "Good to see Gene is doing well. Griff, you should cherish all the memories you have with Gene, as I'm sure you do." Uh, yeah, let me tell you something about Gene Odom. I told Gene is kind of like my savior. And the only reason I met Gene and have anything to do with Lynyrd Skynyrd is because when I was crippled up from getting ran over by the car, I saw Gene Odom on a documentary, and I was like, how in the hell is this guy still getting around? I need to, like if you want to be a millionaire, you go hang around a millionaire. If you want to learn how to recover from a bad accident, you hang around somebody that was in a plane crash. And that's why I met Gene. And that's why he and I are very good friends. And and I just happened to meet all these people through Gene, like Craig. If it wouldn't have been for Gene. And I told Craig, I would have to say Gene to me is like when Ronnie said, "Do I have a friend?" If Gene were to say, "Griff, do I have a friend?" That would be me. And I told him, anytime, any place, anywhere that you are, if you're stuck out in the middle of Oklahoma or wherever, Gene, you give me a call. I'll come get you, brother. And I will, because that's how I feel about Gene. So yeah, I do cherish every second I have with him, and I spend a lot of time with him, and I talk to him probably a couple times a week, and he's a good friend, and I appreciate him. So yeah, that's my buddy Chip Crewy. Craig? What were your responsibilities as a production manager for Rossington Collins?
Well, me and Larkin would book the shows with the venue, and then about 6 weeks before we'd go play the show, I would have to call them and make sure that they had everything we needed to unload the truck. If we needed a forklift to unload the truck or whatever, and then I how much told them how much stage room we had to have and how much power we needed and how big the stage had to be and all of our requirements and what we needed for food during the day and just everything that goes on during the day. As a production manager, you're in charge of everything that happens during the day, security, and you have to have a security meeting and just kind of oversee the production, go out and make sure everything is getting set up adequately and nothing falls on nobody. And
Were you like responsible for the equipment and the trucks arriving and all
oh
the
yeah,
yeah.
all the scheduling, everything like that. Yeah.
Did you ever have any? You ever remember any issues where something didn't go right and somebody got pissed off about it or anything like that?
Oh, every day something doesn't go right.
Yeah,
Yeah, every day
a
something.
lot of fires to put out then, huh?
Yeah, every day there's
Was there
something.
ever an incident that was a showstopper for you?
No, no. There was a place up in there was a show up in Canada, and we walked up in, and it was an around stage, and we just sat there and laughed because they said, "Ain't no way we can get on this stage," and we just kept going. Well, if we move this here and cut back here, but finally, we figured out how to do it, and turned out to be a great show, man. But yeah, we walked in the place, we just laughed. I said, "Ain't no way we can do this." But we, after tossing the ball around a little bit, we figured it out. It was a great show, man. I remember that was funny.
I tell you what, traveling around like all these different venues and trying to make sure that everything's going to work out, that's got to be like a pain in the ass because every place is going to be different.
Every place is different, yeah. Especially those
And
old
and then
theaters.
was there like outdoor venues and things that you had weather issues or
Oh God, yeah, man, yeah, moving stuff across the grass. You have to lay down plywood anywhere you go. You can't just roll equipment across grass. You got to, everything's got to.
so did you keep plywood on trucks and stuff or how'd you get the
Oh,
plywood?
we had to have plywood to get the truck. A lot of times they wouldn't have enough plywood, and we had to use plywood to put under the trucks to get them back to the stage, and they'd have to take the wood from the front where if they were backing the truck up, they'd take the wood from where they already backed over it and move it to the back of the stage, and then vice versa. Oh, some places were a nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah, I know about that plywood because that crawler transporter that rolls the space shuttles and the rockets out to the launch pads, you have to lay plywood on all the asphalt roads, and that's a lot of work, man. 500 sheets on the launch pad surface of plywood. So that reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Plywood's the go-to thing, man, for moving equipment around, when you got trucks and things. But yeah, that's a great question there, Chip Crewy. Like that question, man. Those are the kind of comments that I'm looking for, when you guys are putting comments and questions down. And when it comes to winning the poster here, like what Gene was signing the other day, and I'm going to give away if you go to the supportsurvivors.net and tell me that you would like to, and if I see your name on there and I see you're a good commenter like that and you have great questions and things, that's what I'm looking for, stuff like that. So appreciate that Chip Crewy. And then Autumn Honecker says, I'm a woman, Griff. My question is, how is it that, yeah, and this is the one that I think we were talking about earlier, Craig, is that I don't know if you and I talked about this before or not, but how is it that the affairs that the guys had and the rumors didn't get back to the wives of the musicians?
Oh God, yeah,
How is it? Yeah, yeah.
that was touchy. That was a couple times Judy tried to to get me to open up. Come on,
Oh,
tell
yeah.
me. I know Alan's messing around. You can tell me I know Alan's. I said, no, I don't know anything. I travel with the crew. I don't know anything about the band.
Well, a lot of Ronnie's songs, like it talks about screwing around and stuff. And how is it that
Yeah, I
Judy
get
didn't get mad about that?
he kind of mentioned mentioned that it was kind of rough at home sometimes. Where'd you come up with the idea with that song? And
I know.
he said, "Well, I was talking to somebody and they were telling me this story, and I thought about that."
Right. Or, Judy, that sounds like a good song. It's not true, but
Yeah, some guy was telling me a story, and I wrote a song about it. Yeah.
yeah, it sounds a little fishy. But but yeah, that's a great question. And I think if you're in a rock and roll band and you got a girlfriend, you're going to be playing hell all the time. That's that's like Shelby, she's dating that new Molly Hatchet guy, that lead singer, and I know
I
I
think
wish her well, but you're dating a guy who's a lead singer. Maybe everything will be fine, but I see where she's out in Las Vegas. I guess they got a gig out there, and she put some pictures on Facebook, and so she's been real busy. I've been leaving her alone because I
she'll
know she's
probably
having
be a
fun.
wardrobe person.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll check on her in about a week or
she's
so.
probably doing their laundry and doing their wardrobe
Yeah.
and being a roadie. Yeah.
Parker Lee. He's the singer for Molly Hatchet, and they're
Setting up their
dating.
dressing room. There's, people do that. There's the people that set up the dressing room the way that the band want it.
Did
Yeah.
did Judy ever go on the road with Skinner?
No,
No, never.
Ronnie
He
didn't
didn't allow
allow
that.
any of the wives on the road at
Yeah.
all.
Wow,
Not at all. No.
that's kind of a good idea, because
Yeah.
I mean
No,
you
allow
don't want
any
any arguments and
wives
things.
on the road. Crew or band wives. Nobody that traveled with the band, their wives couldn't be on the road with them.
What about later on after the plane crash? Did the wives ever go then? Like, you know, after the plane crash, like Johnny, when Johnny was singing, did any of the crew, did they ever bring their wives?
Yeah, yeah, that rule lightened up after, yeah.
Wasn't as
Now
strict.
once we got once we got the band and the crew got separated, we traveled on different buses. Yeah, the crew guys would have their wives come out for a couple days.
Well, of course,
They would
Gary and
ask
Dale.
they'd have to ask the rest of the crew guys if it was okay. Sometimes it was a little cumbersome because the wife had to bring a couple of kids with them. But yeah.
Yeah, and Gary and Dale, they were married and they were in the band together, so they had to be together. And did they ever have any trouble, or they get along pretty well, or do you even want to talk about it?
I plead the fifth.
I didn't think you would want to comment on that.
I plead the fifth on that.
I happen to know some stories, but I would never tell. I would never tell. No, that's too personal. User says, he's a guy, I think he hates Trump, but he hates Biden too. Man, you got to pick one, dude. I mean, but if it's Biden, don't come back on our page again.
It might be Michelle here pretty soon, Michael, or it could be Gavin.
Yeah, it could be.
Or maybe Oprah.
Oh my God.
They're gonna have to do something, man. That guy,
I can't wait to see.
He's been impeached, ain't he? And they've got impeachment hearings against him.
If they throw Trump in jail, that's just going to be a fast track revolution right there, in my opinion.
Biden's not even on the ballot in Ohio. The Democrats the governor or whatever forgot to put him on the ballot, and the time's up. So he's officially not even on the ballot.
Really?
Yeah.
I wish everybody else would forget about it, but
he'll get on. I mean,
he's gonna steal it anyway somehow.
Oh,
so it doesn't matter.
No, they're gonna come up with some kind of martial law or something.
Yeah,
something's gonna come up.
And I don't see Trump going to jail, because that would be some rioting in the streets, man.
Oh my God!
Did you see where they were on? I guess it was CNN, and they were saying, Trump, he's busy in court, and he is trying to go around in all these boroughs and campaign, and then they show a next scene, and they're just, these New Yorkers are all flipping, man. They're all flipping for Trump, and there's just miles and miles of lines for Trump at his rallies in New York, and he's just capitalizing on that whole thing like he does. That's what he does, He takes and puts a spin on everything. But we're probably going to get demonetized for this one now. But anyway, what's
funny is everybody you see that's mentally ill, they're all Democrats. I mean,
I know. Well, you have to be.
Everybody you see that's just mentally ill is a Democrat. I mean, there's something there. I don't know.
Well, you just either that, or you're just not smart. I don't know. It's just. But anyway, user says the story of Gene in the restaurant was hilarious. The one I told about when Gene was in the restaurant.
Lady, get out of the way.
I got another one I'll tell you if you like that one. There's another one I'll tell you when, and I don't think I told this one yet. And if I did, I'm sorry, but I met Gene at this place where he lives called Stump Knockers. There's two Stump Knockers in Inverness, and this one was downtown. It's a restaurant because Gene likes like fried fish and stuff like that. And so I brought a whole box of T-shirts down there, and Gene had never seen them before, and there were different T-shirts and different sizes, and what I would do is I would get the T-shirts and I'd give them to Gene, and he'd sell them, and then he would pay me back for what it costs for the shirts, and then keep the profit. And so we're going and looking at all these T-shirts, and this big fat guy comes up to Gene, and he goes, "Hey man, I'd like to get one of those shirts there." And Gene goes, "Buddy, we ain't got your size." and then he goes, "Are you trying to say I'm fat?" And Gene goes, No, man, I ain't saying you're fat. You're the one who said you're fat. I just told you we ain't got your size. Now get the hell out of the
Oh, that's a good one.
way. He set himself up, and then and then that same day, uh, Gene and I were having a tea across the street on this bench, and this guy pulls up. This big muscular biker guy pulls up with his old lady on the back, and there's some music playing, and then it's real loud coming off that motorcycle, and then Gene, the guy turned the motorcycle off, and then Gene goes, "Thank God you turned that shitty music off," and then I thought it was going to be a fight, right? Well, the girl on the back saved it. She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "I hate when he plays that song. I like country." And Gene goes, "Yeah, I like country too," and then they started having a friendly conversation. But there for a minute, I thought I was going to have to, get in a fight with this big biker dude because Gene tells him he's glad he turned that shit off. And this is a big biker dude, man. You don't want to mess with that guy. So, but yeah, Gene, he forgets he's 75 years old, But he's a nut, man. And I could tell you story after story about all the stuff he does. He's just hilarious. Yes, several people were talking about that shirt that I had on, the NASA Roadie shirt. Yeah, that was Dave the Disciple made that for me, and I appreciate all the shirts that he sends, and he's a good dude, and he's working on some refrigerator magnets, Craig. I don't know what they're going to be, but you're going to get a package in the mail, and it's going to have some refrigerator magnets in there, and so maybe we'll have a giveaway with those.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that'd be cool to have.
That'll give me an excuse to wait another week to send everything out, huh?
You're gonna have to get on the stick with that. There's gonna be some complaining going on here if you don't hurry up. So yeah, so Craig owes me some stuff too, so don't feel like.
Oh, I owe I go. Kathy Gozzi is always on me to send her that dream catcher that cousin Fiegel sent her 2 months ago.
Yeah, so he'll get around to it. And one thing I sent
her one of those robes from Japan, those kimonos, but I forgot to send her one of the ties, and I'm supposed to send her one of those. She keeps reminding me of that too. I'm sending it, Kathy. I got it together. See, I didn't forget.
And then the last comment, which is about 20 comments and questions, and I try to keep it to like 20. Someone says, the heat and traffic in Florida, no way. Well, yeah. I tell you what, that's why we suffer with the heat down in Florida like you guys do up north with the snow. But we got a lot of Yankees moving down here now, and there's like tons of people escaping all these liberal states, and then they're coming down here, and then they're trying to be liberals here, and we ain't putting up with that shit. You guys need to, if you're going to come down, that's all well and good, but don't be bringing your liberal ideals down here to Florida because we don't like that crap. And the snowbirds are getting worse. It's like, especially up there around where Gene lives, he calls them, and he'll tell them, y'all damn Yankees, get the hell out of the way. But I kind of like the idea of a reverse snowbird. I mean, I like to go up north during the heat. So I'm kind of looking to get me a place up in the mountains somewhere during the summer so I can get the hell out of Florida when it gets hot, because it is hot. And I'm gonna pull a reverse snowbird, and what they call
my sister. I told her about that the neg the neg egg peeler.
Oh yeah,
and she used it today, and she couldn't believe it. She goes, "I just shook it."
Oh, she got one, huh?
Yeah, I sent her one, And,
I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna get one.
and I sent her one, and she goes, God, I shook that thing and I took it out and the peeling just fell right off. She goes, I hate it when those things are so hard to do. You take half the egg with you and stuff. She goes, you know.
Do you put it in there while the egg's hot?
No, what you do is you cook the egg. It gives you instructions. You cook the egg, and as soon as the egg's done, you take the egg out and put it in a pan of ice water, actual ice cubes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and leave it in and take it out of the boiling water and put it in a pan of ice cubes and water, ice cube water, for 5 minutes, and then you just put it in an egg and put a little water in there and shake it real vigorously, and the peeling just falls right off. It's unbelievable.
You know, I've noticed that if eggs are real fresh, that they're really fresh, they're hard to peel. And
Oh, really?
there's all kinds of people have all different tricks and things for peeling eggs. You put salt in the water, and then you got to let them cool, or there's different tricks. But I'm definitely going to get me one of those because I can't stand that.
Well, there's a little indent. I'm trying to figure out why anything wouldn't work, but there's a little indentation in there, and I guess that's where the egg. I guess when you shake it real hard, the egg hits that, and it
breaks up the shell, huh?
And it separates the shell from the egg, some kind of shock or something like that, because it just falls off. But yeah. Must be that little indentation there. That
how much were they? How much is it?
like $16.
Yeah, what's 16
Yeah,
bucks?
man,
Yeah?
it's worth it. God,
The
yeah.
water that you put in there, is it just regular temperature, just cool
tap water? Just
tap
put it
water?
right down there to that red line there, and dump the egg in there and shake it like that about 6-8 times. Take it out, and the peeling just falls off. Yeah, it's amazing.
All right.
It's well worth it.
Yeah, go get your nag.
Gotta get an egg.
All right, Craig, that's the end of the comments, and that's going to be a wrap.
All righty then. Well, happy trails to you until we meet again. And that's a wrap. Cut.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep token until then.